I figured I'd do an update on the website and basically just go over some stuff I've gotten lately. Now, with the Corona stuff going on, there hasn't been quite as many screeners arriving, which, that's fine because it gave me time to catch up on the ones that I already had anyway. But just being out and about here lately, this is the stuff I have acquired either through store shopping or through the mail because some stuff has still been arriving more recently. So we'll just start this off with this one. Now, this is one of a few burn on demand titles I'm going to talk about here. It's originally released by RLJE Films, Housewife. Now, I didn't get the DVD of this when it came out, but now this is a burn on demand one, and some of these burn on demands are done, and they're done on a real disc, but this one is obviously a DVD or BDR. Haven't got to watch that one yet, but going to check it out. Dollar General kind of took a note from the Dollar Tree in many ways and has got a bunch of really cheap horror films for like $1 or $1.30, something like that. Abducted. Don't know anything about it. It's $1. The only reason I got it, I'll be honest with you, because it's $1 and because it has a green case. So pick that one up. This is another one of those burn on demand ones. In Fabric. Not seen it. Heard some pretty good things about it. This was actually supposed to be All Hallows Eve, and for some reason this showed up. But All Hallows Eve should be showing up in a day or two, so maybe it's a good thing because maybe this one's good. I've not seen it, like I said. Dead Sight, another burn on demand title. Now I had the DVD of this one, and the movie's pretty good. It's like this blind guy. It opens up and he's in an ambulance and it breaks down. Of course, he's blind and there's a zombie outbreak. I think, best I remember, maybe it was more of an infected type of zombie than a zombie, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm confusing that for another one that I watched recently. But nonetheless, he meets a girl cop and together they try to get their way out of it. It's pretty good. Better than a lot of people I think online said it was. Because I think some people said it wasn't very good, but I thought it was okay. So if you like zombie movies, and I feel like we're almost to the point where maybe zombie movies can be openly welcomed again, this one's not a bad choice if you want to watch one. This here, for a long time there, for a couple years, I was really into steelbooks, and then I kind of just got out of steelbooks. But I've been kind of getting back into them, and as a result, I've bought stuff that I probably wouldn't have bought otherwise, just because it's a steelbook and cheap. I was at Save Lot, and I got The Hangover Part 2 for $5 on the steelbook. If it's a halfway decent movie and it's $5 and it's a steelbook, I'll probably pick it up. I don't know if I'll even open this. I just like having it because it's a steelbook. And for $5 at Big Lots, Peter Jackson's King Kong. I don't know if this one's any good because I've never seen this one. I've seen, I think, virtually every King Kong movie and Godzilla movie for that matter, but the Peter Jackson King Kong. So I might actually open that one up and see how that one is. Big Lot's a good place for random Blu-rays, actually. They had, I think it was War Dogs that has Jonah Hill in it. I had it for $5, and they had like a couple of, I think, Mission Impossible movies or something like that for $5. I may end up getting those. I don't know, though. I'm not really too enthusiastic about them. The Jesus Rose. This here, I tell you, I'm going to do a written review on the site for this. It hasn't went up yet, but this is one of the worst sequels I've ever seen, which, I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of a bastardized sequel in a way because, he loved the character. He came up with the character's mannerisms, and apparently he asked the Coen brothers if he could use the character for a movie, and this is the result. It was released by Screen Media. Basically, he gets out of jail after some time, and he meets up with his buddy, and then they kind of get involved in some antics. But I didn't find it funny, and it just seemed like it really didn't have much of a point. So, if you just love The Big Lebowski and you love this character and you want to see him on his own, I mean, he hits all the notes that you might remember from the movie, but it's just, besides that, it wasn't that good to me. Moving on. Haven't seen this one yet, but haven't heard anything good about it. Don't Let Them In. Basically, it looks like kind of like You're Next, and it says You're Next meets The Purge, so I'm assuming that's exactly what it's going to be. This is from Phase 4 Films. Should get around to watching that one pretty soon. These are a couple of Arrow titles I got right before everything hit the fan and everything started locking down, but I just got around to watching them. The Far Country, a Western from Arrow Academy, I believe. Yeah, Universal Film, but Arrow put it out. It's a pretty old Western, and I don't know, for some reason, I don't know if it's my Xbox One just didn't like the disc or what, but the first disc, which has the newer transfer on it, it just didn't play right. It started glitching out, and I got this for review, but I got it so long ago, I'm not even going to ask for a replacement. But I just put the second disc in and watched the old 2.00 or something ratio version of it. Basically, this guy here, he comes to town and he's kind of getting hoodwinked by this guy who's like a corrupt mayor or whatever of the town. And basically, he decides to get him back with double crossing him, but he's over in Canada, so the guy can't step over his boundaries and do anything, but eventually him and his little gang does, and it becomes like a big showdown and stuff. It was okay. I didn't expect much out of it, but it was interesting. Like, if you like go Gunsmoke and stuff like that, so you'd like this. It's pretty good for that type of stuff. This is a regular Arrow one. The Passion of Darkly Noon. All-star cast here. We got, Ashley Judd. We've got Brendan Fraser and Viggo Mortensen. I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly. He's always going to be the king from Lord of the Rings to me, but it's a really artsy type film. Like, Brendan Fraser plays a guy that comes out of the woods at the beginning of it, and he's found, he's near death, and he's took to the house of Ashley Judd, and he immediately falls in love with her, and he's sheltered. But he's a little bit kooky, so he starts kind of getting obsessed with her, like crazily obsessed with her. And when her husband comes back, who is, of course, Viggo here, he doesn't like that. He kind of like slowly descends into madness. It's slow, it's artsy, nothing really happens to like the final act that I found interesting, outside of a few artsy shots here and there. Wasn't my type of film overall, but I can see where some people might like it. I did a full review on the website if you want to check that out. The Burn on the Man, All Hallows Eve 2. Don't remember much about it. I have to go back and revisit it. I do have the old DVD of it. I was going to wait and get All Hallows Eve and watch them both together at the same time. Although, I do realize I don't think any of them have anything to do with each other besides the fact that the same director is involved and it's got like the cursed VHS tape or something like that. But I'll get around to revisiting that one. From Buyer Vision Films in Australia, I believe it is. It's the Anaconda Complete Anthology. Now, this comes with Anaconda, Anacondas, Anaconda Offspring, Anaconda 4, which is Anaconda Trail of Blood, and then Lake Placid versus Anaconda. The first one's good. I don't remember nothing about the rest of them, but I know Lake Placid versus Anaconda is pretty terrible. Or at least it seems like it was pretty terrible. Haven't opened it yet, but I've been told it'll play on Region A, so... This is one. I first heard of this one, and this I've had this one for a while, and it came from Walmart right before everything started shutting down. It's the Unkindness of Ravens. I had heard of this one. I think it had like a special Blu-ray release that maybe Diabolic DVD had, and my friend Corey had got it, and I heard people talk about it, and I thought, well, I need to check it out. So I ended up getting the DVD, the cheap, his Echo Bridge are still around, the DVD of it. I haven't got to watch it yet, but, probably should have got the limited edition version, but sometimes you just gotta go with it and just get what's available, and that was this. Maybe I'll watch it. Another one of the, here's a couple of the cheap Dollar General ones. Rise of the Zombies, Danny Trejo. I stood there holding this thing for probably 20 minutes trying to decide if I actually had this one or not, and I decided for $1 I'd take the risk on it, and I hadn't seen it. It's an Asylum movie. You see a lot of Asylum movies in this dollar pile. You also see a lot of Full Moon movies, and this is 3 of the Full Moon's Moonbeam children films that they have for $1. Goobers, Not at the Magic Museum, and Shandar, the Shrunken City. I was informed by my friend Christopher Frum that these were released under different titles at different times. I just got it because Goobers is on it, because it sounds like it might be fun. Like I said, $1. 3 movies, and it's 3 movies that are on their own disc, so that's a pretty good deal right there, I think, even if it is childish Full Moon movies. We're going to get into the... I'll just bring these 3 out here together. This is the Severin releases that's come out here recently. We'll start it off with these 2 because they're kind of connected. It's the Al Adams documentary, Blood and Flesh, and also his movie Carnival Magic, which was on the Severin Kids line. This is a pretty interesting documentary. The director kind of lived a pretty interesting life, made a bunch of movies, and he died a very horrific way. And it talks about it here, which is interesting enough, but then it also comes with a bonus movie, The Female Bunch, which is kind of like one of his fortes. I guess like everything about it, the way it's made is kind of like his calling card, and it never hurts to have a bonus movie on a documentary, I don't think. So it was interesting enough. Carnival Magic, probably if you had to go between one of the 2, I'd probably pick Carnival Magic. It's a kid's movie at heart, but it's basically him and his talking monkey. They save a carnival, so you can't top that, right? And then the bonus film is, what's the bonus film called? The bonus film's called Lost. It's about a little girl that gets lost, obviously, and he's the stepdad, and she kind of don't like him anyway, but he has to go save her, and it's one of them heartfelt family films in a way, but it's done by this dude, so it's a little bit strange. So can't recommend those enough. I'd get them both probably if I was you. And then also from the kids line, it is When the Wind Blows. Now, This was apparently aimed at kids back in the day, but it probably would traumatize them because it deals with an old couple, in the UK that's, the world's on the brink of war, so they're going through the steps of what you need to do to be prepared for it. And it's got a very interesting animation. It's animation mixed with a little bit of live action stuff, so it looks really cool. The transfer looks pretty solid on it. It's got a good soundtrack. It has a Roger Waters produced soundtrack, and it has songs by like David Bowie and stuff on it. I believe it was David Bowie. So don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure the Wind Wind Blow song is David Bowie. But it's produced by Roger Waters, and since I sided with Roger Waters when Pink Floyd split up, years later when I read about it, because I was too young to remember it at the time, I'm pretty happy that he did the music on this, which is pretty cool. And he did the When the Wind Blows song. So the music is just kind of eerie, and it mixes with this movie that's kind of eerie. And they said it's a comedy. It's like a dark comedy. I don't know if I've seen too much funny out of it, but it was definitely interesting and creepy. And I don't know how kids could ever deal with it. So more the reason to get it and show it to them. From Scream Factory, it's Frankenstein: The True Horror. This was a made-for-TV movie that is chumped together here in its entirety, so it's like 3 hours long, and it's more true to the Mary Shelley book of Frankenstein. But that being said, I thought it was pretty dull. So unless you just love Mary Shelley or Frankenstein, I'd pass on this one. But it looks nice for what it is, but it's just too long and it's dull to me. That's just my opinion. The Brawl on Cell Block 99 4K. Finally got around to getting it. Walmart has 4K for $7. They've got a bunch of these RLJE films for $7 on 4K. They had Arizona, which I kind of wish I'd have got. They had Puppet Master, The Little Shrike, which I already had. But I bought this one, watched it. This director, Dallas. Oh, that's wrong. I'm reading the wrong name. Who's the director on this film? What's this dude's name? I thought I would have it memorized by now. But he did Bone Tomahawk, and he did Dragged Across Concrete, and for the life of me, on the spot here, cannot find the dude's name. So, why is it not at the end? Oh, there it is. S. Craig Zeiler, something like that. Either way, whatever his name is, there it is. Seek out every movie he's done, because I think every movie he's done is almost a masterpiece, and I love this movie. Vince Vaughn plays like this big guy that's trying to work things out with his wife. He ends up, getting a job from his friend, which is kind of underworld type stuff, but his friend knows somebody, so he ends up having to go on a job. It goes south. He ends up going to jail. Probably would have been okay, but then they kidnap his wife who's pregnant and tell him if you don't get from the relaxed prison to the block 99, like the hardest prison ever to be in, and kill a guy for him, they're going to kill his wife and the unborn kids. So it's bloody, it's violent, it's got some funny parts, great dialogue. This dude does dialogue not on a Tarantino level, but maybe the best next to Tarantino I've seen. So a lot of quotable stuff here, gruesome stuff. I love this one. If you haven't seen it, I strongly suggest you see that one. I really anything he's got, because Vince Vaughn's great in it. I used to hate Vince Vaughn. I used to hate everything he was in, but I've liked that, and I've liked Dragged Across Concrete. See here, we'll just go through these. Summer '84, Burn on Demand title. Shudder movie, I believe it was. It's kind of like Stranger Things, but it's kind of like, a little bit more adult-driven than Stranger Things, because things do get bloody, and, I don't want to spoil things, but people do die that you might not expect people to die in this movie. It's a good one, solid one. Liked it. Can't recommend it enough. It was on my top 10 list the year it came out. Can't remember what year that was. From Epic Pictures, Butt Boy. I don't know anything about it, but that's a heck of a title to call something. So that's Butt Boy. If you've seen it, let me know. From Second Sight over in, I believe it's the UK, it's Magic. The Anthony Hopkins film with the puppet in it. Now, I seen this years ago on AMC. And it's pretty interesting. Like, he's becoming a failed magician or a failed stand-up comedian, whatever you want to call it. But he ends up getting this puppet, and it saves his act, it saves his career. And he's about to be picked to do like a special, but he runs off because he don't want to take the medical exam, because obviously he's nuts. He meets a girl, he digs her, but he kind of goes crazy. And there's portions of this where you're trying to figure out if it's really him or if the puppet is alive itself. It's a slower paced movie, but it's an interesting movie. Now, this is Region B locked, so it won't play in a Region A player if that's all you got. But my external BDR drive just so happens to be region free, so I was able to hook it up to my computer that's hooked to my TV and watch it that way. Has a bunch of extras there. One particular one's pretty good with the dude that wrote the script and wrote the book, so I recommend that one if you haven't seen it. VFW. Picked this one up when I bought Attack on Block or Cell Block 99. Directed by Joe Begos. I'm terrible with names, but this is another great one. some old ex-Army vets kind of like have to hold up at their bar, the VFW, when a gang is chasing a chick there that just stole their drugs, and she stole their drugs because the sister of her sister was killed by the drug lord right at the start of it. I love this guy's movies. I've loved everything he's done. I've loved Bliss, Almost Human, you know, all that stuff. I loved it all. And I'm going to do like a full review of this on the channel, so I'm not going to say much about it right now. But if you haven't seen it, see it. It's good. Would have got the 4K. My Walmart didn't have it, so I ended up getting the Blu-ray. And the last couple we got here. From Scream Factory, it's Monster Go Home. Or Monster Go Home. This is a spin-off movie from the Monsters. I haven't watched it yet. I used to like the Monsters when I was a kid, though, so I think I'm going to enjoy this one. Also has a bonus movie on it, The Monsters Revenge. I do know that one's in full screen, but hey, like we said before, it's never bad to have bonus movies. And the last thing got was something I got just today, and it was Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies. This is the Asylum movie, starring the wonderful, I want to get his last name right, Bill Oberst. I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, to be honest with you, but Bill Oberst Jr., who I've known since I started doing reviews 10 years ago or more. I reviewed like his Amityville movie, and he had contacted me about that. And over the years, even if I didn't enjoy his movies, I enjoyed his performances. I don't think I liked this one very much. I've seen it a long, long time ago, and I don't remember being very fond of it. Before $1, I'll revisit it. I posted about that online. I think some people thought I was attacking Bill in some way when I was like, well, I'll unfortunately buy this for $1. But the thing is I wasn't, because I really liked the stuff he was in. I was like, you know, was it Circus of the Dead or Circus? What was it? What was that? The Bloody Bill movie. Circus. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. The circus movie. I've got it, and I enjoyed that. And I, you know, he even was in, like, he even popped up in the, you know, Three from Hell, you know, small role. So I mean, like, he does great stuff. He's in a lot of stuff that I like, and yeah, I can like his performance even if I don't care too much for the movie. And Bill's a great guy, and I like his performances. I'd love for him to be one of my movies, I ain't gonna lie, but this one, it's not gone with the wind, let's be honest. But that being said, that's what I got recently. There'll be some more updates on the site pretty soon. ZombiesDon'tRun.net's been updated quite regularly here lately. If you want to go read some of those reviews that I got on there. I know people don't like reading anymore because it's a bummer, but there's stuff there. And if you see any of this stuff, let me know what you think of it. And I hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you guys are maybe starting to get out a little bit now. I think things are starting to open up a little bit. Maybe we'll get back to as close as normal as possible. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, by all means do. And like it and share it, because, you know, I'd like to get to 1,000 subs, because if you get to 1,000 subs, I can actually go live on my cell phone. I won't have to actually deal with a webcam. So can you do a brother a favor and sub if you haven't? So besides that, till next time.